Start this dish, we got 2 cups of water or stock. You can use a veg stock or use a chicken stock. You want to get that stock going first. It's going to come up to a boil before we add our polenta. The liquid's boiling, so then you're going to stir in your polenta a little at a time. You got to whisk in your polenta a little at a time, and you're going to turn it down to a simmer. Stir all that in a little at a time as you're whisking. Don't want to dump it all in at once. Just like that. Okay. If it's a stock, it's going to be a little bit darker in color. But this is a medium grind polenta. There's different kind of grinds of polenta. Depends on if it's a thicker grind of polenta, it takes a little longer to cook. It's a fine grind like cornmeal, it takes a little less time to cook. So we've incorporated all our cornmeal now. Now we're going to turn it down to a low simmer. There we go. We get some bubbles happening too. Correct myself, that was 3 cups of that stock or water, not 2 cups. Sorry about that. So now we're going to let this simmer for about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. We'll let all our cornmeal cook down so it's not gritty, but it's going to be nice, soft texture. All right, that was 10 minutes. You see how thick our polenta is, right? We're going to turn that off, and we're going to season it with salt and pepper. Some salt, some pepper. You can put extra butter in there too if you want, but just putting salt and pepper. You're going to mix that around, and now we got to get it to cool down. All right, we have a cookie tray. We're gonna put a little bit of oil, a little olive oil on there, just spread it around so it doesn't stick as much right there on the tray. Then we're gonna take our polenta and we're gonna spread it out in the cookie tray so it can cool down and firm up, hopefully. There we go, spread that all out. Once again, when you taste that polenta, it's supposed to taste pretty smooth, not gritty. If it's gritty, then it means that it's not cooked enough. So you have to keep cooking it some more. But generally a medium grind polenta should take about 10 or 15 minutes. If you use a coarse grind polenta, it could take up to a half an hour to really get it cooked out. So depends on what type you use. And if you use a regular just fine cornmeal, it's gonna cook in like 5 minutes. So you're gonna spread that out to about a 1/4 inch height on your polenta, and you're just gonna let that cool, just like that. Our polenta's cooling down. We have some basil. We have some peppers, red, yellow, whatever color you have, depending on where you can get them. Stony Hill Farms has different ones. We also have some garlic. I already peeled the garlic. We're going to slice that up. So we're going to start with our garlic. We're going to take our garlic and slice it up nice and thin. Just thin slices. I'm doing widthwise on this with the garlic. You can go lengthwise, but nice wafer thin after you peel it. So there's your garlic all sliced up. There you go. If it's a little thick, it's okay, but you want it mostly thinner. So there's your garlic. Then we have our basil leaves. Basil leaves you're going to take off the stem. And we're just going to do a chop. You don't have to do a chiffonade cut. You can if you want. So you can kind of go like this. You lay out a couple of leaves, stack them on top, right? We'll do the chiffonade, right? Oh, you can chop it. And then after you wash them, so you want to make sure you rinse them in water. You always take your basil and you rinse it in water. And then you take it out, either a bowl or a container. That way it'll take any of that dirt off, especially when you got it fresh from a farmer's market. You want to make sure you wash your herbs really well. So that's that. Now we're going to slice and get our chiffonade cut for our basil, just like that. And we're going to put this off to the side too. There we go. Next we have our peppers. I already cut 1 in half. So I like to cut a pepper in half, and then I take my knife on the top and I kind of roll it with my hand like that. So I get my ribs out. You can also take this out with your seeds, and you have there, you can cut it into quarters. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut this into strips. So we're going to do nice strips. We're going to go shorter this way, so we'll go strips this way. That's about a little more than a 1/4 inch. Get all your lovely peppers cut into strips, and get those all cut up whatever color you want. The amount that says on the recipe, and you're good to go on your peppers. All right, we're gonna put in a medium-sized pan our olive oil, and you want to heat that up to a medium heat. You don't want it too hot because we're gonna add our peppers, our garlic in there, and you don't want to burn it. So we have a medium-sized, medium amount of heat. We got our peppers go in there, and we are gonna start sauteing this for a couple minutes on a medium heat until our peppers get nice and soft. Stir those around and season with some salt and pepper. There we go, just like that. Let them get nice and soft. Don't burn them. Get them soft. Add our garlic to it. There's our sliced garlic. So we're going to cook it a couple minutes on the peppers, then we add our sliced garlic next. Move that around. You want to get your garlic nice and soft, but you don't want to burn it. Not looking for a lot of color in here, just to be nice and soft. We have our peppers are nice and soft now. We have a little bit of color in our garlic, but not too much. We're gonna add our pine nuts there, or any kind of nuts you wanna add. And then we also wanna add our basil. So basically, that goes for 1 more minute, and then we're gonna be ready to go. Smells great. Just a little more salt and pepper. And you are good. So we're gonna turn that off. So we're gonna cut some squares on our polenta. Depends on what size you want. I said 4 inch by 4 inches is really good size on your polenta, for your polenta sheets. And we got our polenta cut up there, right? It's like, this can be like a portion, like a little side, small meal in itself, or you can do this as a whole, as a side to a meat protein item. So it's up to you how much of a portion you want to do for it. So there's our polenta on the bottom. And this is nice in the summertime. You want a little base of some starch, but this is also gluten-free, which is great. But you don't want it to have it like, you know, too heavy, especially when it's summertime. And we got that. Also, we forgot we're gonna melt a little bit of butter on here too. So I'm gonna melt a little butter before we finish this. We're gonna put about a couple tablespoons of butter in our pan, and we're gonna melt that to put on top. It smells really good. So we're gonna melt some of that extra butter on the top, right? There we go, a little moisture there. And then you can, as an option, put Parmesan cheese on the top if you want. That's up to you if you want to put Parmesan cheese. You don't have to, but you can. And then you're all set, ready to go.